Hello, everybody. Hi. Hello to everyone who are watching us. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever in the world you are joining us from today. So this is the Saffi Squirrel book launch party, and it will begin at 11 a.m. But while waiting, make sure to join our giveaway contest for a chance to win the entire Saffi Squirrel book set. And there are 4 ways to win. So here's the first one. You can share this live. You can share the live right now by clicking on that share button right there on Facebook. Another way to win is by sharing the book launch post. You can also find that in the Saffi Squirrel Facebook and Instagram accounts. And you can tag us by using the tag Saffi Squirrel and make sure that your post can be seen publicly. The third way to win is by visiting saffisquirrel.com and type in your name and your email address to sign up for our newsletter. And lastly, later in our question and answer portion, you can post a question in the comments related to the topics below, and you get the chance to win one Saffi Squirrel book set. So again, make sure on Facebook and Instagram that all your posts are public. Again, we'll see you at 11 a.m. and this is the Saffi Squirrel book launch party, and we hope to see you then. Saffi Squirrel, and this is the book launch party for my series, my book series. The actual book launch will start at 11 a.m., but while waiting, I want to make sure that you join our giveaway contests for a chance to win a Saffi Squirrel book set. And there are 4 ways to win. I just want to tell you about them again before we start our party at 11 a.m. So the first one is by sharing this live. All you have to do is click that share button on Facebook, and you can also share the book launch post in the Saffi Squirrel Instagram or Facebook account on your socials and tag at Saffi Squirrel. Also, make sure that these posts can be seen publicly. There's another way to win, and that is by visiting saffisquirrel.com and type in your name and email address to sign up for our newsletter. And lastly, later we will have a Q&A portion. And when you post a question that is related to the topics in the comments below, you also get a chance to win one Saffi Squirrel book set. So again, the book launch will actually start in 3 minutes, guys. The book launch party will start at 11 a.m. So go and call your neighbors, your family, and your friends. We'll see you and party with you there. We have so many more giveaways for you guys and contests. And of course, we're going to talk about these awesome books. So again, we'll see you there. Zigzag, see you later. So good morning, everyone. But if you are from other parts of the world, good afternoon and good evening to you. I am Saffi Squirrel, and this is our Saffi Squirrel book launch party. So it's a party early in the morning here, but everyone, it is going to be a big one. And I want to tell you that we have so much in store for you today. We have books that we're going to talk about. We're going to hear from the authors. We're going to have a ton of giveaways and contests. And at the end of the hour, we'll be giving away 3 book bundles to 3 lucky winners. So again, I was telling before we started, if you were here early, that there's more than one way to win. And I'll tell you again. So first, you can share the book launch post in the Saffi Squirrel Instagram and Facebook account on your socials and tag at Saffi Squirrel. Make sure your post can be seen publicly. You can also visit saffisquirrel.com and type in your name and email address to sign up for our newsletter. Also, because I know that you are here watching the live, you can also share this live right now by clicking on the share button right there on Facebook. And lastly, later we will have a Q&A portion. And if you post a question in the comments related to any of the topics that we are going to talk about, you get a chance to win yourself a Saffi Squirrel book set. So if you're watching us on YouTube, we encourage you to also join us on Facebook Live if you want to join and interact with us and join the games through the live comments. So again, you can join us today by going to Facebook Live, giving us all your comments, all your questions, and joining the games later on. By the end of the program, we will announce 4 winners by raffle draw from all the submissions, and winners get to receive a Saffi Squirrel book bundle each. Yes, all of the 5 books that we're going to introduce to you today. So before we call in our authors, we invite everyone again to click that share button, because as with everything, the more the merrier, right, guys? And we want everyone to be having fun here with us today. So now I want to introduce to you the authors of the Saffi Squirrel books, and that means my story. So I want to introduce to you Clarissa Sirinia de la Paz, and she is a financial literacy advocate and co-author of 2 books, I Wish They Taught Money in School and Money Grows on Trees. Her parenting style is leading by example, and this is how she educates her kids and fellow parents on money smart principles. Clarissa is currently based in Singapore with her husband Miko and her 2 beautiful children, Alessi and Basti. Our other author is Monique Leonardo Carlos, and she is a certified early childhood and infant toddler educator, and she currently works as the director of a family resource program. She believes that mindfulness and a shared language among family members are what make better conversations between big people and children. Monique is also a homeschool mom and is currently based in Vancouver, Canada, with her husband Russ and her children, Matina, Renee, and Raphael. So everybody, let's wag our tails and welcome Clarissa and Monique.
Hi, everyone. Hello from Canada. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. And we're so happy to see you.
Hi everyone, good morning from Singapore and good afternoon or good evening to the other parts of the world. Thank you so much for joining. We promise you a fun 1 hour full of money lessons today.
And that is exactly what everyone is here for. They want to hear about your awesome books. So can you tell me, guys, what are all Saffi Squirrel stories about? And how did you guys come up with this?
Yeah, well, really, Saffi Squirrel is a collaboration between our 2 advocacies. So Clarissa has always been about encouraging financial literacy and a more positive relationship with money. Whereas for me, being an educator, being a mom, for me, it's really about encouraging better relationships in families through positive child guidance and a shared language. And so I remember, because Clarissa already has 2 books on finance. And I remember when she released the first one, that was 10 years ago. I was actually pregnant with my very first child, Matina. I realized that the concepts that she was sharing and what she was advocating for were really, really important. And I sort of grew to become more proactive. I thought I wanted to be more proactive in raising my own children to be financially literate. And so that's when the conversation started. That's when we started talking about translating these money concepts into something that's easily understood by children.
But why, of all things, why did you choose Saffi Squirrel? Why did you create me? Why not any other animal?
Well, because you're so cute. I think as we all know, even for adults, for children and adults, animals are just easier to appreciate. And I feel that especially for younger children, it's easier to see or to understand situations and feelings when it's happening to a character that's a little bit more relatable. And so when we settled on doing an animal, I started doing some research on animal behavior, on different animals in the wild. And lucky for for me, like my middle daughter Renee, she loves animals, and so every day randomly she tell me so many facts about animals that I've never even heard about. And I think one day we were walking through the forest and we were seeing so many squirrels running around, and then she actually said that, you know what, mom, there are like many different kinds of squirrels, and I didn't even know that. And so when we went home, I started doing a little bit of research, and I read that there are different kinds of squirrels, and so the gray squirrel, because I thought they would all just put their acorns all in a pile, but actually the gray squirrel doesn't do that. The gray squirrel actually takes, the acorns and buries it in different parts of the ground in their territory, and they sort of just dig up the acorn that they need to eat at a certain time. So comparing to the squirrels who would pile it up, just in one big pyramid like the red squirrel, if they don't get to eat all of the acorns in winter, then they rot. But for the gray squirrel, because they put it in different spots and they sort of just take what they want to eat at a certain time. So those that they don't get to eat, well, what do you know? They grow into trees. And we sort of liken that to investing. Yeah. So we were thinking, I was thinking, oh, this is so much like, when they say you don't put your eggs in one basket. And so I was thinking that's super smart. Like you actually put it in different places and then it grows into trees, just like when your money grows, when you invest it.
Right. And that's exactly what I do. Even if right now my tail and my ears kind of look like brown squirrels, I'm actually a gray squirrel that invests. But so nice to hear about where I came from. But what's the vision for Saffi Squirrel moving forward?
So 9 years ago, I wrote the book, I Wish They Taught Money in School. And exactly because I wish they taught money in school. There are so many life skills that are not taught in school. So our vision for Saffi Squirrel is to teach those life skills. So financial literacy or being money smart is just one of those. So we're actually starting with that, but then it will evolve, it will grow. And I personally wanted to put up a money school, teaching kids and adults about investing, stock market, entrepreneurship, and many more. So actually, we're already writing these money courses. So something to look forward to from Saffi Squirrel. But before we can teach our kids investing and the different vehicles to grow their money, we need to raise them with money values and money habits. So even if they understand investing and know the math behind it, the many formula for investing, if their values are not in place and anchored in their consciousness, if the habits are not there, then it will be challenging for them to put these principles in practice and apply them in real life. So Saffi Squirrel is here. That's why you're here, to teach all of us, all of those viewers and listeners right now, these essential life skills.
All right. So you mentioned that you also are preparing courses, but you did not go to the courses route directly. So why did you choose children's books as your initial medium?
Yeah, well, Clarissa and I are both moms, and we've always been big believers in the importance of early literacy, of children reading, of family time spent together reading. And as for myself, my educational background is really in early childhood education, and so I've long really seen the effectiveness of books in allowing children to explore situations, concepts, topics, and feelings that they don't normally get to experience or we don't normally get to talk about. I mean, when you think about it, right? Like even for us adults, when a difficult situation comes up or something that we're not so sure about, like we don't know how to talk about it, or we clam up, or we just don't feel as comfortable engaging somebody in conversation about it. So much so for children who are encountering situations or feelings for the first time, right? Like be it a loss in a family or a fight with a friend, or things surrounding money, such as they're in a toy store and they want to buy a bike, and then they're like, can't I just take it out of the store, right? Why do I have to go to the cashier and pay for it? Or how do I even get money to pay for it? So I mean, really, I think when they see these similar situations in books, And in stories where there's a squirrel and children going through the same situation, it just becomes easier for them to understand, and it gives us adults, big people, that opportunity to process these values, these concepts with them before we actually apply it in the real world. And so, and like what I said earlier, sometimes we might not really know how to talk about it or process things. So that's why in these books we actually made it a point to put in what we call big people prompts. So what they are really, they're sprinkled throughout the story, and what they are really are sort of like guide questions, or like suggested talking points, so that for us big people, as we read it with the children, we're able to sort of deepen the conversation and really make the stories and the concepts within these 5 books something that you can apply in your own life and just make it fit your own unique family and situation.
And I love that, because the way you talk about books is that it's really not just about, oh, I'm reading this to my child, blah, 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 all the text. It's really about, how do I make my child understand what's happening in the book, and how is that book relatable to my life, or that family's life. So I love that, and I'm sure that you can go deeper into that later. But before we proceed to the sneak peek of each of our books, we want to encourage everyone again to post your questions in the comments or the chat box below. Actually, I've seen some questions already, and I promise that we will try to get back to them. But I have seen some interesting ones in the comment section, and Clarissa and Monique will both do their best to answer as many as they can later in our Q&A portion. So again, those who have posted questions already know that if you post a question related to our topics today, and it has to be a legitimate question, you get the chance to win one Saffi Squirrel book set. So again, we'll announce all the lucky winners before the hour is up. But now, the most exciting part of our book launch party is talking about the books. That is the most exciting part. So can someone tell me about all these books? But let's start with book 1, Renee's Ginormous Bag.
So Renee is Monique's daughter, and Renee's Ginormous Bag is about the value of money mindfulness to build the habit of discernment. So it starts with identifying and differentiating needs and wants. So eventually, when our kids become adults, they will be able to differentiate and discern between, let's say, an asset and a liability. Just the other day, I was having a conversation with Alessi. She was telling me, Mom, I want a big house. Why can't we live in a big house? Because we have a very tiny apartment here in Singapore. And then I threw her a question. Do you want to buy one big house, or do you want to buy 2 small houses so that you can rent out the other house? And obviously at her age, she gave me a puzzled look, like, what is my mom talking about? But really, just planting those seeds, and I'm sure, for sure, she will eventually get what I'm trying to say. So really raising our children to have that discernment. So when they grow up, again, asset, a liability, or is this a good debt, or is this a bad debt?
Nice.
I also remember this one time. So again, still with Alessi, because she's really more of the conversational between her and Massey now. So she came home from school, and she was asking us to buy her a digital watch. So apparently, some of her classmates in preschool are already wearing a digital watch. Can you imagine that? So in this page, in Renee's Ginormous Bag, we incorporated that conversation. So in this story, Alessi is asking for glitter boots, and in the dialogue, she goes, but the glitter boots look so cool, and most of the girls in my class have them. So I won't tell you how that conversation unravels. You will have to read Renee's Ginormous Bag to see for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, Renee's Ginormous Bag really, this book really hopes to encourage children and even us adults to really stop and think about our choices, just like, in that page when she was wanting something that her friends had. So really stop and think about the choice that you make. Do you buy it? Do you not? Right? I mean, in these early years, early childhood is really the time that self-control develops in children, and it's just incredibly helpful if they're surrounded by knowledgeable others, and that's us, the big people who can really guide them into that decision making process, to really sort of ask them the questions that will get them thinking about the decisions that they make, right? Like, I mean, for me as a parent, when we go to the grocery here in Vancouver, all the groceries have like a toy aisle. And so my kids still would say, can we pass through the toy aisle? And of course, like my 5-year-old, my youngest, Raphael, would still, sometimes say, oh, can I buy the transformer? Can I buy the dino robot? And then I'm like, it's just easier for me to manage the behavior and to manage his expectations and to encourage him to regulate himself, to regulate his wants by just asking him the question, is it a need or is it a want? Right? Or sometimes I don't even ask that. Sometimes I would go straight to saying, I understand that you want, the dino robot, but it's not a need. And we're here now in the grocery to buy things that we need. And, there's no fuss, there's no fight. Again, it's just easier for him to manage his feelings and expectations because it's something that we've talked about. And that's something that you'll see here in the book, that we sort of show you different ways of how to process that with your children and really sort of equip you with these prompts and cues that will help you encourage more appropriate behavior. I mean, it's for us children and adults, we all thrive somewhat on predictability and some sort of routine, right? And it's similar to when we say, for example, we tell our kids it's bedtime, right? That phrase, it's bedtime, becomes sort of that cue to prompt them to brush their teeth, to sort of change into their jammies, to I don't know, get a book to read, and then they know it's time for bed. So it's prompting them to behave in a way that's expected of them in that certain situation. And so it's the same way, like in all other aspects of parenting, it really helps if the children are given these cues, these phrases that sorts of prompt them into more appropriate behavior.
Correct.
So throughout the stories, you will see these Saffi says. So we planted some quotable quotes that can help families remind each other of the lessons from Saffi. So in this particular page, we define needs as have to have, wants as nice to have, so that it's easily understood by our children. So in one glance, they'd get it. So in all the 5 stories, you will see how we're bringing down the vocabulary of money concepts down to what's age appropriate for our children. So take note of these Saffi says when you read our books.
I love that so much, especially when you mentioned about you really have to bring the vocabulary down, because you have to also remember that your children, not only with the terms needs and wants, but all other words, they are still just learning these things. And it's really best to show them the differences between the meanings of what might appear to be similarly defined words, but are actually different in the details of their meanings by giving them specific examples, which is exactly what you guys did with my stories. I'm so proud of myself. No, but thank you guys for these stories. And my gosh, we are only in book 1, and I can see so many people getting interested about Sally, you here says excited to read all your books, and someone said Mia says super nice reading, and someone is already asking how to order these. So we have reminded everyone earlier that you can buy these by visiting saffisquirrel.com. But again, keep your questions coming. For the other questions, we will get back to them in our question and answer portion. But for now, we've only heard book 1, guys, and everyone's so excited about this. Wait till you hear about book 2, which is Raphael Stretches His Patience. Let's talk about this one.
All right. So Raphael stretches his patience. Again, Raphael is my youngest. He was 4 when we wrote this book. So this book is ultimately about waiting, which I know is probably a challenge for so many parents, so many people who work or care for children. So it's about waiting and the value of delayed gratification. And really, we feel that in this world that we live in, when there's so many things that are instant, or you get things, with just one click of the button. It's super important that we help our children understand, and even ourselves, because we're all guilty of online shopping. I think it's really important for us to all understand that, one, good things can come from waiting. Two, that some good things in life really take time, and lastly, that waiting doesn't have to be hard, that it can actually be a more positive experience. Again, Clarissa talks a lot more about how it relates to money, and personal finance later on. But again, these books are also advocating for what you can do now, as a parent, as someone who works with children. And so for me, like 6 years ago, we moved here to Vancouver, and at one point, I found myself with a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a newborn. And with that, I still had to do my errands, still had to go to the groceries, still had to line up at the family doctor, still had to renew my license with, all three with me. And it was really, really helpful for me that my children, were learning, still learning, was practicing, really stretching their patience. Because, this value is not just for the children, but it's also really for us, as parents, again, as people, as adults who work with children. It just makes situations a lot more easier for us to manage. And it's just a lot, less stressful for us as well. So, there are many situations that we find ourselves in that we need to wait, like, waiting for food in the restaurant. Do they really have to be, on the iPad or on the phone? Or waiting in line for the doctor, or waiting in line at Costco and the grocery. So there are just many situations that we can actually practice and encourage our children to stretch their patience. And in this particular book, there's so many strategies that we present that you can actually do with your kids to just make waiting a little bit more fun for them.
Delayed gratification is very important in investing. So all of us need to learn how to plan for the long term and not just live from paycheck to paycheck. So in fact, one of the money lessons I teach and personally advocate for is to plan for one's retirement as soon as one starts earning money, not when you're 50 or 60. And how my parents taught me and my siblings delayed gratification was to double our savings every year. So my dad made us bamboo banks, and our parents would match the amount of whatever we saved by the end of the year. So the bamboo bank was a reminder that we had a choice. Either we spend all of our money now, or we save them knowing that it will double if we wait. So the rewards are really greater if we wait. So every New Year's Eve, we got to break and smash our bamboo banks, and it became a family tradition to go to the bank and deposit all our coins, all our Christmas cash gifts every New Year. And this is actually one of my favorite childhood memories. So I want to pass that on to my kids, and they also have their bamboo banks at the moment. So contrast that to what the world has become for our kids. Like Monique was just saying, all of us are guilty of online shopping. I mean, I advocate for personal finance, for delayed gratification, but even, I still have my I still have my guilty pleasure of really just buying everything in one click. So, but then it also tells us that in this day and age, while your videos, your music, your shopping are all available, are all one click away, then all the more we need to consciously teach the next generation the difference between instant gratification and delayed gratification. And in Raphael Stretches His Patience, we clearly illustrate this concept using this visual. So good now, so that's instant gratification. That's your cake, as soon as it pops out of the oven. But better later, that's delayed gratification. So again, I'm not going to spoil the story for you. Please read this book to find out more about what happens to the cake in Raphael Stretches His Patience.
I love it. And personally, this is one of my favorite stories because, Saffi Squirrel was also a little squirrel before she became a full grown squirrel. And this was my personal, or is my personal thing that I still need to keep working on is my patience. So I personally love this story. And again, you guys, Clarissa, Monique, you've gotten so many people so excited about these books. So I'd like to just say hi to some of the people who are joining us. We have Hazel, who shared this stream with a friend. We have questions from Melissa, and there's a comment from Kai about I love this book about patience. There is also a comment from EJ, who says that even if she understands that these are children's books, she says, I feel like these concepts still apply to me. Correct, EJ. These apply to kids, but also kids of all ages. We also want to say hello and thank you for all the congratulations from Felina and a friend here from the Philippines. Her name is Judy Lynn, says, laking tulong po ito sa ating mga kids. We also have, hello, Jika, and people watching from different parts of the Philippines. Diane, or is it Dianine and Marco? Oh, there is someone here in the chat who says he's Marco, and he says, we have bamboo banks in our family too. Clarissa, you found someone
Yay!
childhood tradition. Hello to Metro Tagaytay Advisor, who has a really good question. We'll get back to that later. But yes, thank you again, everybody. If you're just tuning in to this book launch party we have, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from wherever you are watching from in this world. We are taking a break only to play some games, but we have already talked about two of our Saffi Squirrel books. But right now, we just want to keep giving you guys chances to win. So we're going to have a small contest, and this is called our emoji line game. I'm going to read you guys the instructions, okay? So by joining this game, you get a chance to win a copy of the book I Wish They Taught Money in High School. And all you have to do is be the first one in the comments to guess the meaning of the emoji line that we will show on the screen. So our unifying theme for this is that all the answers are titles of popular children's books. So again, it's the first correct answer posted in the chat that will be the winner. And we will have a total of 5 winners. Okay, so you can only win once though. So even if you keep getting the same answers, I mean, if you keep getting the answers correct to all the questions, if you have won already, we are going to give the chance to someone else to win so that we can have more people who can win our 5 fantastic, to have a chance to win our book, I Wish They Taught Money in High School. So we'll give you a sample round just so we understand that everyone knows how we're going to play this game. So the sample round, our first one is, can we show our guests who can guess the title of this book? The blank, blank, blank.
I can give you a clue.
Okay, go ahead. It's a song, a theme song. Is there someone who knows this song? So guys, the emoji line is the blank, blank, blank.
I see so many people saying the answer in the comments, right? Do you see it, Clarissa?
Oh yes, we have a lot of. I think everyone knows this story, Monique.
Yeah. But I'm not deciding. I'm not choosing the winner, right?
All right. So because I kind of burrowed out a bit there, we had a little glitch in our burrow. But I'm back. And since we want to make sure that we get the very first comment of the right answer, we will leave it to our team. But yes, guys, the answer to the first sample round, remember there's no prize for this, is the 3 Little Pigs. Thank you, guys. Yes, that is how we're going to play this game. But just so we're really, really, really sure, here is sample round number number two. Who can guess the title of the next book? It's blank, blank, blank. What is that? Blank, blank. There are only two blanks, but three kinds of the emojis. Two-word answer. All right, I see someone named Ina Flores Pahati who guessed Good Night Moon. Can we see if she got it right? Yay! All right, so that is how we play, guys. But remember, that was still a sample round. That was sample round number two. So thank you for your enthusiasm. And now we are sure that you know how to play this game. Let's go and play the actual game. Guys, let's go stretch our fingers here so you can type your answers fast because it's the first answer who will win the book I Wish They Taught Money in High School. Ready? Game one. Let's see our emoji line. It says the blank in the blank.
So until now, we read this book at bedtime. Alessi and Basti love this classic, and I don't know when they'll ever outgrow this. It has such fun rhyme and rhythm.
All right. And actually, I can already see so many people posting the answer. So let's post it so they know if they got it right. And it is the Cat in the Hat. Again, our winners will be announced at the end of our book launch party later. So please stay tuned if you won the contest. So again, because you cannot win multiple times in this game, if you've already won in previous rounds, you will have to give chance to the next commenter. Let's go to round two. This is so much fun. This is so much fun. This is so much fun. This is the blank, and the blank.
I love this book. It has and all its sequel stories. So definitely a classic as well.
Yeah, I love this because this was also turned into a movie, I believe. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I can now see the answers on our comments. So let's show the guests our answer. Yes, guys, you're correct. It is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Let's proceed to our third round. Let's go. Emoji line number three is the very blank blank. What is this? Let's look at the emojis.
Yeah, I think my fellow preschool teachers would love this. I mean, know this book. This is my absolute favorite book by Eric Carle.
Actually, okay, yeah. And it seems very popular with parents also. This is one of the fastest that they answered. And yes, everybody, the answer is the very hungry caterpillar. Very good, guys. Thank you for joining our stream party. All right, round four for this emoji line game. Round four. It's the blank blank. What is this? What is the blank blank? What is that?
There are so many valuable life lessons in this book. So similar to Saffi Squirrel books. So even adults can learn a thing or two from this book actually.
And the graphics are so cute. And there are also so many cute animals in this story. There, I can see the answers streaming in. So let's show our guests if they got the right answer. And you are right. It is The Little Prince. Someone even answered in French and said Le Petit Prince. I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but this squirrel is not French, so forgive me. All right, let's go to round five. This is our last emoji line round for this section. It is
it's
blank.
Also a classic, and it's also been turned into a movie, right? Or I think even a play. Yeah, when I was younger, just a trivia, I was always in Repertory Philippines, and I actually played one of the animals in this play.
What animal?
Wow, Monique, I didn't know that about you.
All right,
just a farm animal.
We already have several people answering, but some answers were saying the spider's web is a popular guess, but the real answer, guys, is Charlotte's Web. So I love this also. You're right, because there were so many animals in this story. I think it happened in a farm or a barn or something. So again, everybody, thank you for joining this round of our emoji line game. And that was just a break, just so we can all have fun and win some prizes. But now let's go back to talking about our awesome Saffi Squirrel books. So we are now talking about book 3, and that is Alessi's Pot of Gold. Can you tell me about this?
So Alessi is my firstborn. She's 7 years old now. And Alessi's Pot of Gold is about abundance and creativity. So we want to instill in our young ones the habits of thinking out of the box and developing their skills and talents. Because really, these are our true wealth and our pot of gold. So hopefully, when they grow up, they will realize that these different skills and talents actually translate to multiple streams of income. So again, one of the things I advocate for is to amass wealth. So build different sources of income, because really, whoever said we can only earn from one job or one source of income anyway. So there are so many ways to earn money, and we explicitly wrote that on this page. So this is one of the money lessons that the Saffi squad will learn with Saffi Squirrel in this story.
Yeah, and I super agree with that, like about abundance, and that how that just an abundance mindset just helps us amass wealth. Like in Clarissa's words, I know my kids would often say, "Mom, why do you have so many jobs?" and, but I mean, well, yeah, amassing wealth, guys. But like an abundance mindset, I always say, is not just about not just for situations surrounding money. I think as a parent, as an educator, as someone who works with children and families, I think we're all aligned in thinking that our children's mental health, their social emotional development should always take top priority. And I think in situations when they feel that the going gets tough, or something is really challenging for them, what we really want them to feel is that they have it in them, whether it be resources in them or being able to ask for help from other people, that they're able to find ways to solve the problem, or to get through that difficult situation. But it doesn't have to be older children that experience this. I mean, even with younger children, like when they're, for example, just putting a puzzle together, right? I mean, they're doing it for the first time, they don't know how to do it. Sometimes it's very frustrating for them when there's so many pieces to it, right? And our job, as parents or as big people, is to guide them through it, is to sort of show them that there are many different ways that you can go about, completing the puzzle. You can either do the edges first, or you can sort of group the puzzle pieces together according to color before you sort of map it out. But basically, yeah, with this book, it's really about, I think it's a great reference to look back on whenever there are situations that frustrate our children, and just sort of show them that there are 100 different ways that you can go about to solve a particular problem.
And those 100 different ways are all coming from them. So what I love about what I get from this book and this story of mine is that it's really about believing in yourself, and that you are so valuable, and that there is no greater richness than yourself. So I love that. But because we are it's a book launch party and we have so many more books to talk about, let's move on to book number 4, and this one is about Matina Dreams Big. Tell me about this.
I love this book. It's very personal. Yeah, it's very personal to me. Matina Dreams Big is about just that, about dreaming big. But yeah, so it's about dreaming big dreams, but at the same time sort of really plotting it out. How do you achieve these big dreams? I mean, the reason why I super love this book is because I think there's so many, books out there that encourage children to go after your dreams, even for us adults, right? You can achieve anything that you set your mind to. But sometimes I think we feel stuck. Like even for kids, even for us adults, like I want to buy a house. How do I do that? and for kids, right? Like I want to be better at playing piano or be better at playing basketball. How do I do that? And we get stuck. And I think for us, as big people, it's not just about encouraging our children, but actually equipping them with ways to achieve the goals that they set for themselves. Like just the other day, we were in the playground, and then my Rafael, my 5-year-old, was trying to get across a monkey bar, and it's pretty different. This monkey bar was sort of twisting and turning, and mind you, I can't even do a straight monkey bar. I don't have the arms for it, guys. But yeah, so my 5-year-old was like, I can't do it. Like I don't want to do it anymore, and he was getting so frustrated. And the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "No, you can do it." But then I caught myself and realized, that's not enough. I need to show him how, or sort of, ask him questions so that he gets to think about how he will do it. So I was asking him, okay, where do you need to hold on next? Where do you need to put your foot next so that you're pretty stable, right? And so he got through, from one end to the other by himself, but me sort of asking him questions along the way and sort of showing him and guiding him. And really this story explores both sides, encouraging big out of this world dreams, but also helping our children, enumerate and plan out concrete steps to achieve that dream.
That's right, Monique. And as our children grow up, we want them to learn to ask the question, how can I afford this? Versus mindlessly just uttering the phrase, I can't afford it. And we will be able to do that if and when we have a plan. So we really invite everyone, not just children, to build a list of what you want in life. Put price tags on those dreams and set deadlines so they become more tangible, more achievable. We also want to inspire adults or big people to dream. So again, our books are really for all ages. So to really go for one's heart's desires, because everything is moving too fast. We're just talking about everything being one click away. We always hear, oh, life just happened. I forgot about my dream, or life just passed me by. I forgot that this is what I really want to do in life. So we want to bring back that mindfulness again and really ask ourselves, what is your biggest, wildest, out of this world dream?
Yeah, I love that. And now the way that I relate to this story is that I see children, and again, earlier in the books that we talked about, you talked about vocabulary. So here it's not just about the words that they need to understand, but the process for how to do things. And sometimes we think as grown-ups, because it's so natural to us, for example, how do you make a sandwich? And we think, immediately we think we need bread, we need, cheese and maybe mayonnaise or whatever. But to children, they can't automatically think of that process the way that grown-ups can. And so I love this book because it teaches the grown-ups to break down all those steps and show the children that, it doesn't have to be a scary or big task when you break it down to smaller steps. And that's what I really love about this Saffi storybook, book number 4. So again, because we are getting so many people excited, I just want to read some comments. For example, we have our Dakiz Bagausan, who in Filipino said, these books are so beautiful. And also Ajika Ranom. And there are a lot of mommies here who are using hashtags and inviting their other friends and community to join the stream. So thank you so much for sharing the stream, everyone. But we would just like to say that remember in the beginning of our book launch party, I said that there are different ways to win our giveaways, and one of them was to share this live. But I just want to inform you that that way to win by sharing this live ends at 11:45 Manila time. Okay, so you guys have one more minute to share this live to join that way of winning this bundle. After 11:45, we will be choosing our winner for that. So don't worry if you were not able to share this live by 11:45 in the morning Filipino time. You can still have other chances of winning by getting the post on Facebook and Instagram of Saffi Squirrel, getting their launch book party post, sharing that, making sure your content is seen publicly, don't forget to tag at Saffi Squirrel. So again, going back to just some questions before we have another break, another emoji line game. We also have La Arnie Sarol Taray, Rosaline Tino Reyes, Jen Be, who has a very good question here that I will get you guys to answer later in our question and answer portion. We have Raquel Lopez, Angela Notare. So, hello everyone. Honeylin Armenta. Someone says that these books are so nice and very kid friendly. So thank you again for joining us. If you have just joined us now, this is the Saffi Squirrel book launch party, and we are launching 5 books of Saffi Squirrel stories about being money smart and just overall awesome human beings. And but we have already talked about 4 different books, and we have one more book to talk about. But before that, let's play one more game, another round of the emoji line game. If you were here earlier, you will already know how to play this, but just for the purpose of having everyone who have just joined us also be able to join in this game, when you join this game, you get a chance to win a copy of another book of Clarissa's called Money Grows on Trees. So take note, this is not one of the Saffi Squirrel books. This is a financial literacy book also written by Clarissa called Money Grows on Trees. And all you have to do is be the first one to guess the meaning of the emoji line that we will show on the screen. Another clue or the overall theme for this is all the answers are titles of popular children's books. Again, the first correct answer posted in the chat will be the winners. And because we will have 5 rounds this time, we will have another 5 winners. And again, you can only win once just so we can give other chances for people to win as well. So if you guys are ready, again, get ready to type in your answers because the first one on the comment box will be the winner. There will be no sample round for this one, so game on. And let's go, everybody. Round 6. Let's see it. And it is blank in blank. Let's see. What are these emojis about? And I'm going to try to make my best impression that
Of the one in the movie. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're more familiar with that too. The one in the movie.
Yeah, because okay, I already see the answers in the comments. So let's show our guests. What is the answer? Yes, guys, you're right. It is Puss in Boots. Did you guys guess it because of my Puss in Boots impersonation? But yes, let's move on to round 7. Let's go. Let's show them. It is blank and the blank blank. What is that? Blank.
I love this story. This story teaches abundance. So the little boy here grows up financially lacking, but he's still the embodiment of what true wealth is all about.
I love that. I love how you're able to summarize that in a very Saffi Squirrel way. Oh, there. And I see the answers flooding in. So let's show them. It is, yes, Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Awesome work, everybody. Everybody's so engaged. I love this. Again, the winners for this will get Money Grows on Trees. Let's go to the next round, round 8. It is blank, you blank. Blank, you blank. What is that, guys? For all the mommies there, I think this is a very mommy
book. And I love this book too. I've given this to so many friends with pregnant with their first baby. And an interesting thing about this book too, this author wrote this book because he actually lost his first baby.
Oh no, that's so sad, Monique. But
it sort of really speaks to just how much love there is.
Well, that's true, because love is, what is it? Because I see
the answer
now. Let's see the answer. Yes, it is love you forever. Okay, I see so many people got that also. So a lot of them female names. So like we said, this is a very mommy book. Let's move on to our second to the last, our penultimate round, round 9. Let's see. It is blank blank and the blanks blank. Oh my gosh, this is quite complex. There are four blanks here. What is this? This is blank, blank, and the blanks blank. What is that, guys? I
Who
love
doesn't love this book and
Oh my
all
gosh, I
its six
love this
other
series.
books? So that's a clue.
I love this series almost as much as I love my own Saffi Squirrel
I'm
books.
looking for the answer.
No,
Why
I see the answers now. There's just a little bit of a lag, but now they're all flooding in. So let's see the answer. Yes, guys, it is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Good job, guys. There's also an English, a British version of this, which is the Philosopher's Stone. So if you guys answered that, and if you happen to have been the first one in the comments, you will still be the winner. Guys, it's our last round of our emoji line game. Let's now move on to round 10. Fight. It is blank, how blank, 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 blank. Oh my gosh, there's now just one
so many
word.
blanks? I love this book too. I love all the books. But I had this book since high school, and I even have like the little, stuffy for it. Personal trivia: my then boyfriend, now husband, actually gave this book to me. So see, it's not just for kids. It's also for
You can
older
actually,
people.
oh my gosh, someone is getting close to the answer, but not quite. I see
I
the
see
correct
it.
answer now. Okay, the correct answer is already in the comments, so we can show everybody. It is Guess How Much I Love You. So, yes, this is one of the books that I really relate to Monique, who is all about love, 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 love. So, yes, I guess we are not alone in all these loving feelings because so many other people were able to guess this book. So we are at the end of our emoji line game, but we are not at the end of our book launch party because we have yet to talk about one last book. Book 5. Are you guys ready? I think some of them are still, they have adrenaline still rushing from our last game. So let's give them a few seconds to settle down by saying hi to some of the people who are joining our games. So hello to Lottie, Emma, Carmed, Jeng, Raquel, Super Califragilistic. Oh, we have a Mary Poppins in the house, and Myla and Sally. So hello, everybody. So now let's talk about our final book, only of this series, this set. And book 5 is about Basti Builds a Home. Talk about this for me.
So Basti is my son. So he's 5 years old now. And Basti Builds a Home is about the value of giving and the habit of sharing, which we believe is the ultimate purpose why we have money. So actually, my kids live with hand-me-downs from their older cousin Bella. So literally, my husband and I, we never had or have to buy clothes and shoes for Alessi. She just gets them from Bella. So Bella also shares her toys and books with Basti and Alessi. So in this scene, we reflected exactly that. So here, Alessi tells Basti, we can help others in different ways too, like donating some of our clothes, books, and toys. Remember, that's how our cousin Bella shares her things with us. So that is exactly how we explain this concept to them and the everyday things, in our own habits and practices as a family. And we process how they in turn could also give away their clothes, their toys that they don't use anymore.
Yeah, and I think, for not just for kids, but I think even for us adults, really, what do we ultimately want to be? I think we were all born to be, to have this generous spirit, to be giving, to give ourselves to others, to share part of ourselves to others. But as we get older, we get so busy, and there are so many other things that we sort of tend to think about, and things just get muddled along the way, and we, I think, forget the basic things, which is really to share our blessings and to share a part of who we are, with others. And so in this book, actually, Basti explores the concepts of, he has this save, spend, and share jars. And so in the book, he was exploring what he was going to do with the money in these jars. And as we said, these books are really meant for, to be your reference, as your guide, as you sort of guide your children through different concepts or different things that happen in your own home, in your own family. And so actually last Easter, my kids were wondering about what they were going to do with the money in their piggy bank. And so I actually took out this specific illustration, and I showed them, Basti has a save, share, and spend jar. So why don't we do the same thing with the money in your piggy bank? So why don't we set something aside for, for the future, for something else that you might need in the future? Why don't we put a little bit aside to spend because they wanted to buy some books? And then why don't we set aside money to share? And so we did that, and we actually bought plastic eggs and little Easter treats, and we hid them in the local playground so that our neighborhood kids could find it. And it was really just instilling in them that money is not something that is supposed to be kept. I think even for me, I'm guilty about it. Like, when I started working as a teacher, I told myself, oh, you know what, at the end of the year, I'm going to share my salary, I'm going to donate to charity. But I sometimes don't get to do that because there's so many other things that I want to spend my money on, or I don't have anything left. But when I think about it, sharing my money shouldn't be left to the end. It really should be something that should be part of the process from the very beginning. And so again, we take these books and we use the stories, the illustrations in here, the Saffi says, the verbal cues, and we cues and use it and fit your own situation with your family.
I love this because I have a similar situation when growing up. I don't know. I wasn't always like, I didn't grow up needing a lot of things, but at the same time, it took me so long to realize that when I first started working, especially, I don't know why my initial thought was whatever I earn will be for me because I worked hard for it. And then it took me a while to really keep expanding that thought of no, regardless of whatever I have, it feels the best when I can share it with other people, regardless if they're the people I love or people I can help anywhere. So it's such an important value, I think, for children to have, especially in this day and age when it seems like everyone's out for just themselves. So it's such an important, almost forgotten value that I really, would love to reintroduce back into mainstream society. So thank you guys for talking about all 5 books. These are so beautiful. I love them, from their covers to whatever is in them. Everything about them is so awesome. So if you have just joined us, we are having our Saffi Squirrel book launch party where we have just talked about 5 of the first books of Clarissa and Monique. We have Renee's Ginormous Bag, which is about money mindfulness. Raphael Stretches His Patience is about delayed gratification. And Alessi's Pot of Gold is about creativity and abundance. And Matina Dreams Big is about believing in yourself. And Basti Builds a Home is about giving and sharing. So I've seen so many people asking this throughout our entire launch party. How can we order? Where do we get these books? So you can order by visiting saffisquirrel.com, and you can get all the information there for how to order, how to buy and get your books. Also, don't forget, if you enjoyed everything that we talked about here, if it struck a chord in your big hearts, then we invite you to keep us and keep discussing with us in our like-minded community, our Saffi Squad. Go to Saffi Squirrel on Facebook and Instagram, and we can keep talking about all these values and how to share these with our children. for as long as we like. And also stay tuned, because on our Facebook page, we will continue to have live streams like this where we can talk about how we can teach all of these values to the next generation. So now, like I said, for all the people who had questions, we will have a question and answer portion. And now is that time. So we will try to answer as many questions as time permits. Let's start with, I think Monique might want to start with a question that she was able to read earlier. If we can get back to it. Monique, would you like to start?
Yeah, this question is from Melissa Bourbon. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Melissa, thank you for your question. And she asked, is this okay for older kids like 10 years old and up? And my short answer is yes. These books are really for any age, even for adults. Although we did write it, using situations and conversations that we have with our kids, and our kids' ages range from 4 to 10. But really, even for myself, I do a lot of parenting and educator workshops, and I always use children's books to sort of, it's a springboard for that conversation. So yes, long story short, yes, you can use it with your older kids. It's really just about you using the story and sort of relating it to your personal situation with your kids and your family.
Is there a question you'd like to answer, Clarissa?
Yes, Saffi. I want to answer this question from Cat GM. So if the kids have a different perspective than us adults about a need, how do you foster saving money for a need, or like for an emergency? A friend's child said, but now we need an iPad for learning. Online learning is done. Okay, so I think there are so many elements to this question, but what pops out is a discussion whether an iPad is, it's a need or a want, and probably not just iPad, but same for every other thing. So exactly how Monique answered the first question, I am just going to reiterate that. So definitely have that conversation with your children. And that's actually what we want to promote in the Saffi Squirrel books. So, go to a toy store, go to an electronics store, and discuss which ones are a need and a want. So, example, an iPad. Yes, we need that for learning. So, we'll probably get that, but we will set regulations. We will only use it for 1 hour a day, or probably we'll use it, just for online learning. But then again, if you cannot afford an iPad yet, you can put it in your wants list. You can put it in your dreams and your goals list. Maybe there's a cheaper alternative, that we can afford. Maybe an iPad is expensive, but then we can use an existing laptop at home. So again, there's so many ways to answer this question, but definitely discuss it with your children. So what I also don't want is we just say no to kids without giving them context.
Yeah.
And I actually practice that with my kids in the toy store. So whenever they want something, I would never say no. I would always give a conditional yes, and actually prompt a conversation with them. Okay, Alessi, so how much is this toy that you want? Can you read the number? Because now she's reading numbers up to 3 digits. Okay, Basti, who's not yet into math, really, we can say, would you like to wait until Christmas, or probably ask for that gift on your birthday? So these are, again, common conversations that we have as a family with Alessi and Basti.
I love that. And I hope that answered your question, Cat GM. So Monique, if there's any question that you'd like to answer next.
Yeah, I was actually there was a question earlier about giving salary for chores, but we're still looking for it. But I just want to answer, because a couple of people asked about whether we're planning to release the books in Filipino or in different dialects. And I just wanted to share that me, when I read stories to younger kids, and even if it's in French or a different language that I don't really understand, or especially when I am doing read alouds for very, very young kids who can't really read yet, or who can't even follow the text while you're reading it aloud, it still works, because what we can now do is just use the pictures as prompts, and it actually encourages verbal, the development of their verbal language as well, because as you point through the pictures, you can even ask them, what do you think is happening in this particular page, what do you think is happening in the story? And so the story is actually coming from them as well, so it's sort of like a joint effort. So it doesn't matter, what language the book is in, you can still use it as a tool to, again, spark that conversation and to encourage your children to talk more, to verbalize themselves more.
And if I can just plug a little bit, Monique, because you mentioned about strategies for using books in different ways, regardless of whether they understand the text yet or not. I understand that you have a personal YouTube channel called Monique's Home, which maybe you would like to invite people for that episode on using books, right?
Oh, really? Yes. I mean, I don't make as many videos anymore. But there is this one particular video that I did with this fabulous teacher, Teacher K, and we really talked about how to read books to young kids. I mean, books are always great, but I always say this to everyone. Every learning experience, anything that we do with children, any material that we present to our children, it's, they learn something from it. But you can multiply that 100-fold with the conversation, that the interaction that you have with your child as they explore this book or explore this material. So in this particular episode of how to read books with kids, we really talk about different strategies, how to sort of, the questions that you ask and how you present books to kids.
I love that. All right. So I'm not sure if Clarissa, have you chosen another question or, okay. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I will answer a question from Hazel Coral. Aside from the finance books for kids, are you planning to publish books about parenting that touches on finance? So kids model what they see, so I think it should also start with the parents. And I can not agree more. Yes, kids model what they see, so I think so. Yes, it should always start with parents. Yes, the short answer is yes. We have a long pipeline of books to publish, so not just children's books. Probably to give a teaser for our next book launch, Monique and I are already writing books 6 to 10. We're already finished with books 6 and 7, so that's something to watch out for. But then after that, we will write more books that are, for more applications. So not so much on a fiction story, but we'll actually write courses, we'll do worksheets that the whole family can do. So again, it's not just for kids, but then it's also for parents or for big people, and to actually do it and guide their kids to what money concepts or money principles are embedded in those worksheets, workbooks, activities.
Yeah, but if I may, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that even with these 5 books, right? Remember, we have those big people prompts, and there's sort of guide questions that you can ask your children. But in reality, it's also a question to yourself. It's, prompting yourself to sort of think about what's happening in the story. And as you ask your child these questions, ask it from yourself too, and see how you answer it, right? And just see how you also process the values in these books, the situations that happen in these books, and just reflect alongside your child, and use that sort of as a springboard to also grow your knowledge about personal finance.
All right. So let's move on to the next question. If you've guys chosen which one you want to respond to. If you have not found one, I will read one where there are several about accessing the books, where to find them. So again, if you have just joined us, if you want to buy these 5 books of Saffi Squirrel, the entire series is available on saffisquirrel.com. So you can log on there and you can find the details of how to put them in your shopping cart now. Also, there is a question if it is available on Shopee or Lazada. Any answer to that, authors? Have you distributed elsewhere?
So not yet in Shopee and Lazada. We're working on it because we do know it's a huge marketplace in Southeast Asia. So we're doing that. But in any other parts of the world, you may also purchase your books from Amazon.com.
All
So
right.
our books have been available in Amazon since February. So please check it out.
All right. There's also one question related to buying the books. And if I will buy just one book from the set, which one should it be?
Oh wow.
The
Okay.
well,
I think
I
Monica will
would
answer.
say, yeah, I would say, buy the bundle because they sort of, the values work hand in hand. But no, yeah, if you were to choose just one book, I say,
Hmm.
we've talked about the different books today and sort of what you can expect from them. So I say, really think about your personal situation with your family and what's most valuable to you at this moment. Do you need to work on, extending everyone's patience? Do you find yourself in situations when they're always asking you to buy stuff in the grocery or in the toy store? And then, start with that book. So you're sort of working really on your immediate need as a family, and then expand after that.
And there's also one related question that I read earlier, and they said, "Must I buy the entire set?" So they were asking. I think related to this is that this one is asking, "Is it a must to buy the set?" So guys, it is not. You're not required to buy all five books. We just encourage. We want to share with you all these five books, but the answer is no. You can choose any one of these books that you want to start with if that's what's available to you or what you have resources for now. They are not connected stories in a sense. They all each have their own plot. The story starts and ends in each book, but the entire Saffi squad, the characters carry on in this whole world of Saffi Squirrel. She has her very fantastic, colorful own world of the Whistling Burrow in all of these books. So again, you do not have to buy the whole set, but we would love it if we could share all of these stories with you. For the
And
next
I
one,
just want
Chris,
to
go
Yeah,
ahead.
I just want to answer this question from Sally. Is there an ideal order to these books to teach these habits and values? So actually, there's no order. Each story is independent of the value and the habit. We only called it, books 1 to 5 in a chronological order of how Monique and I actually wrote the stories, thought of the value. But definitely read, one book, whichever, captures your attention. It's up to you. But yeah.
All right. So thank you everybody to those who answer to those who gave us the questions. Clarissa and Monique did try to answer as much as we could in the time allotted, the time that we have sharing here with you. But it is time to call it a day, a night, or whatever time it is in your place. Thank you again for joining us. If you would like to order these books, you can go to saffisquirrel.com. But before we go on and really close this off, we have our winners. So we would like to announce the winners of our books. So let's see here. We have our giveaway and game winners. Remember, the giveaway is for the ones that we had sharing the post, sharing the live stream earlier, and for the game is for the emoji line game. Let's see who are our winners. Okay, for our emoji line game, remember you have won yourself I Wish They Taught Money in School, which is written by Clarissa. And our winners are Clarissa Umatam Domingo, Ane Gatapia, Sally Yu, Myla Kunanan, and Julia Negre. Congratulations, guys. And thank you for joining Emoji Line Game 1. Next. Our next winner is for Emoji Line Game 2, and you guys won Money Grows on Trees. And our winners are EJ Pepito, Rosie Domingo, Mel Ramos, Super Fragilistic, and Anne Famatigan Lim. So for all of our winners, congratulations, and please wait for our Saffi squad to get in touch with you for your prize. Let's move on to our giveaway winners. Who won? Let's see. For the giveaway and game winners, for an entire set of Saffi Squirrel book bundle, for sharing the live stream, Karen Kai. Congratulations. Let's see who else won. And this is for sharing the book launch post and tagging Saffi Squirrel on Facebook and IG at Saffi Squirrel. It's Teacher Faye Intia. Congratulations. And for signing up for our newsletter, congratulations to Kayla Aubrey Bulaong. Thank you guys. You guys have won book bundles of the Saffi Squirrel series. I'm so happy for you. And for our last winner, we have Melissa Bourbon. Thank you guys. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You have won yourself a Saffi Squirrel book set. And someone from the Saffi Squirrel team will reach out to you for your delivery and contact details. So thank you again for joining us. So don't forget, you can order through saffisquirrel.com. Stay tuned for more live streams on our Facebook and Instagram. But for Facebook live streams, guys, this is the place to be. So don't forget to look for Saffi Squirrel on your socials and follow and like and subscribe. And if you have more questions, just post and interact on our social media, and we will try to keep on talking about these topics and all the questions that you might have as we end this today. So is there anything else that you would like to leave with our guests? Let's start with Clarissa.
Okay, I'm always asked, what's the number one money advice or tip that I have? And I always say to invest in yourself. And when I say that, it means to keep educating yourself about money, about personal finance, about this subject. And what better way to actually start investing in yourself but to get copies of Saffi Squirrel books and start reading them as families.
Love that. Monique?
Yes, and for me, it's really about, the change that you want to see in the world, the change that you want to see in school, in your workplace, in your government, in your community. It really starts with the most basic unit of society, which is the family. So invest in your family, invest in your children, not only with tools such as these books, but invest the time, to spend with them and to really engage them in conversation. So hopefully these books will really help your family create that shared language and encourage, better communication within your family.
Thank you, Monique, and thank you, Clarissa, for writing these wonderful stories and sharing them with the world. Thank you for creating me, Saffi Squirrel. And to everyone who joined us from wherever you are in the world, if you all had fun and learned a lot this morning, please support us and spread this advocacy by sharing this Facebook Live. We'll keep it saved in our videos. And also check out Saffi Squirrel Facebook and Instagram for more money smart posts. And that's it for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us again, and bye. Zig, zag, zag.